So it looks like Conspiracy Candace has taken a bit of a recess from blaming the Jews. Now, I know this is unprecedented. This is something you and I both thought we would never see in a lifetime, right? Where Conspiracy Candace would open her mouth with anything to say that had anything to do with anything other than the Jew. But yet here we are today. What's the date today? September 27, 2025, the year of our Lord 2025. Conspiracy Candace has definitely got a conspiracy for you, but it's no longer the Jews. And I hate to break it to y'all, but this one might actually be just as, if not even more insane than the regular old spiel. This one right here is a piece of work. Let me just go ahead and run this for you guys.
At me is the fact that Turning Point will not release the footage, okay? I don't understand it. Every excuse that I have been handed for why they won't release it makes no sense to me. If you are under pressure, if people are starting to look at you funny as an organization, if they're thinking that, whether rightfully or wrongfully, if they are suspecting because they see this footage of someone quickly remove the SD cards, that you guys had something to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and you quite literally have footage that in theory should vindicate yourself, why wouldn't you release it? Think about that. It's just in your own capacity. If somebody is saying you are guilty of anything, if they're like, Candace, you are absolutely guilty of breaking in.
Candace, you're guilty of being cuckoo. El cuckoo, la Candice. Now, you know what? No. I'm going to let her continue to cook until she burns the rest of the kitchen down. Okay.
To my car. And I'm like, I have a camera right here that shows that I did not break into your car. Would it make sense if I was like, but I'm not going to release that? I'm not going to release that. Because it's not right. It's not right for me to release. What? It makes no sense. I don't understand why they would not release this. The idea that it's because, well, the feds are saying the feds cannot arrest you. Last I checked, the feds cannot bring charges against you for releasing footage that you own. And since when do we trust the feds? Certainly Charlie didn't. He didn't believe we were getting the truth about the Epstein files and things of that nature. So I don't accept that.
Let me give y'all a quick timeline. September 10th, 2025. Charlie Kirk is assassinated, Utah Valley University, 12:23 p.m. By September 10th, 2025, maybe 10 to 11 p.m., Conspiracy Candace, the queen of confusion, had already begun to use this as a means to profit herself. Before the FBI could get a single field agent out there on a serious mission, this woman was already refuting evidence that was not in existence. It was a conspiracy from the moment it happened, because la Candice, la conspiriose, la cuckoo lives in the world of the utterly insane and delusional and narcissistic as well, allegedly. Not a clinical professional here, but in my non-professional perspective, there is a deep-seated narcissism taking place here. Now, imagine being Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, and in the first 24 to 48 hours, you have a supposed old friend of Charlie's. I'm not even giving her the friend of Charlie's, supposed old friend, because we don't even know if there was a relationship there left at all. Right? This is according to the people around Charlie, as well as some text messages from him, which again, the fact that all these things have to be released to begin with shows the level of self-aggrandizement, the sense of grandiosity that this woman here has, to force people's hand into having to essentially save themselves from being the target, whether it is Bill Ackman or Erica. Erica Kirk is currently TPUSA's sitting CEO. And what Candace, Conspiracy Candace, the queen of all confusion, what she is demanding is for Erica's organization to show her proof, because that's what it's about. It's about her show. It's about creating a spectacle as per usual. Does Macron's wife have a boy part? And is Macron's wife actually his own brother acting to be the sister that died? It sounds insane because it is insane. You're not insane for thinking it's insane. You're insane for believing this to be normal, rational thought. I want to address the what I call the cult of Candace. Dear cult of Candace, you're in a cult. You're in a cult of conspiracy. Your cult leader presents you with close to no real substantial evidence, but she does not need it because you have already bought into the delusion. You've bought into the persona. You have developed such a strong parasocial relationship that you can't even hear yourself think. I pray for you. I pray for you. I pray for Cuckoo Candace to get about that spirit of cuckoo to leave. Cuckoo, cuckoo. I pray for the spirit of cuckoo to leave. I pray for the spirit of confusion to leave. But for her cult members, and I'm going to call them what they are, I pray for your right mind, your sanity. I pray for your salvation. Because this woman is leading you right down a hill with her, pretending to be a Christian. I don't remember the last time there was an utterance of actual biblical truth spoken by this woman. And maybe when she made that transition from a Protestant into Catholicism, maybe she just stopped reading the Bible. I don't know. Maybe she stopped. Maybe she started, focusing less on Yeshua or Jesus. She definitely didn't focus on Yeshua, right? She would have a real issue with the Yeshua. You understand me? But maybe she started focusing more on Mary. She started worshiping at the feet of the mother. Maybe she started to focus on the angels or, the bishops or the Pope or her priest or something. Maybe that became her image of God instead of Christ. Maybe that's what essentially started happening when it comes to her own faith and the deviation from it. But she has now become heretical. She has become a false teacher. And for the non-Christians, she's just become straight up cuckoo. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Now she is blaming or insinuating. Let me say that. Let me use my words carefully here. She is now insinuating that TPUSA, Charlie's own organization, is the one who has to present receipts that they didn't do it. Candace, I'm going to call you by the name that your mom or your daddy gave you, or your grandfolks, or whoever was around. Candace, Cuckoo, Owens, can you please present us with the evidence that you are clinically sane? Okay, I'm scratch that little pettiness. Candace, can you provide us evidence that you didn't do it and you weren't behind it? You got over it was the Jews, right? Once you got called out because they brought receipts, Bill Ackman and the rest brought out receipts that you were lying about an entire narrative about how Charlie was changing his mind, and Bibi Netanyahu and the boys came together through Bill Ackman to force him. And there was bullying, there was yelling. You mean at an event that you were not invited to, and you have all this intel about an event that you weren't invited to, that Charlie actually initiated? Go figure. Turns out that there's a lot of stuff that happens that you're not involved in at all, that you seem to know so much more about than everybody else. And because you have an email address where people can send you whatever nonsense, sometimes I think to myself, should I just send stuff over there? Just send it to send it. You know what I mean? I can be like, I don't know. I got, maybe I'll label it like, definitely the Jews. And then in there, I can just put a cuckoo clock, and it just goes cuckoo, 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 just as a reminder. Maybe that will initiate something. It will wake sis up to be like, wait a minute, what am I going on about? Wait a minute. Maybe everything doesn't have to be a whole lot of something. And this takes away, genuinely, all seriousness, it takes away from the severity and the seriousness of the actual problem, spiritual problem that we have in this country, that has taken on the veneer, the mask, the facade of leftism, of progressivism, right? Leftist ideology, the very serious issue of these kids that are being radicalized on the left and becoming very violent individuals that are willing to pull a trigger upon a innocent man or woman because of the information that they have opened themselves up to. That's an issue, and the real issue. And every other day, pretty much, we have a new situation that's unfolding to do with exactly that. But instead, you have millions who are focused. And I'm going to put you to the side for a second. I'm going to address the cult of Candace, and even those who are not full initiates yet, but you just like a little bit of a tasty morsel, a little bit of a scandal, whatever it is. I blame you as well. It's like, artists like Sexy Red, complete degenerate artistry, messaging, etc. This is vile stuff. Nobody should be consuming it, but yet she has an audience. Why does she have an audience? Because there are people who have the appetite for that kind of degeneracy. That's why. So I blame you for Sexy Red, the fan of Sexy Red, as much as I blame the artist, the entity of Sexy Red. So as much as I blame El Cuckoo Candace, because she is liable, not just blood libels, but a whole lot of libel, literally in the court of law. Y'all heard that Brigitte just submitted the evidence, and now El Cuckoo is turning the whole thing around, right? All of a sudden, that's not sufficient. Oh, well, actually, the lawsuit has nothing to do with whether or not, I said you're a man. It's to do with whether or not MK Ultra, CIA, right? Okay. Yeah, you can continue to move the goalpost. And unfortunately, there are those who will continue to consume it because they care more about being entertained than latching on to the truth. So that is something I do have to be, I have to admit to myself. There's some who don't want to wake up. They don't want the truth. They want the scandal. They want the hate. They want the lowest hanging fruit. That's why in this Bible, countless times, I can't name how many times it likely speaks of slander and gossip and that sort of nonsense. And it is nonsense, right? Tasty morsels. Ooh, girl, did you hear? I heard he's got a part. I heard that he is a woman and she is actually her own brother. Did you hear what happened? Oh yeah, he's my friend. But do you know that there's way more to the story than actually what is being told to you? See, I believe I know who actually did it. And it's like, okay, sure. Institutions have lied to us, etc. Completely get it. Always be discerning, always dig deeper. But maybe, just maybe, it might have been a radical leftist who said he did it. Maybe. You know what I mean? Like JFK, etc. They really did a number on our society. September the 11th really did a number on our society to where there's just, it can't be, any story just can't be the official story anymore. And that's a detrimental way of viewing and perceiving the world, where everything must be conspiracy. You become a paranoia junkie. You become deluded in your day in, day out existence. Again, I'm not speaking of those who connect dots and they make sense. I'm talking about you done came up with a conspiracy before the thing even happened or the moment it happened. You already got the story. When Nick, the Mexican white supremacist Fuentes, is coming out and saying, maybe, just maybe, let's not jump to the, on the Jew train with this one. When that dude is saying that, wow. Poor Erica in this time is when this individual decides to use her husband. I mean, it's like what happened to Blake Lively? Well, that story wasn't hot anymore. The Brigitte thing is pretty hot, but it's not the hottest thing on the algorithm. What is? Oh, who really did it? Who really took Charlie out? Hot on the algorithm. Somebody told me that she's made upwards to a few $1 million, likely from just a few videos about this. But for me, I believe it's more than money. It is influence. It is power. It is power. It is self-aggrandizement. Look at me, the purveyor of this hidden wisdom. Does that sound familiar? Who told you you would die if you eat from this tree? You need to eat from this. I'm just saying. It looks like it's tasty. You might want to join me. You see me over here. I'll see you salivating over there. Come get some. Poor Erica. And, Candace made it clear that the only way she will stop is if Erica or Charlie himself would tell her to stop. That's what she said. If Erica or Charlie, and mind you, these things are only said because one, obviously Charlie could not because he is no longer here in the physical form to be able to defend any of these claims. And then Erica is likely going to be the last one because of the place that she is. And if she did come out, I promise y'all, she will move the goalpost again. Conspiracy Candace will move the goalpost once again. I promise you this. Every single time. Hey, Macron, I want this evidence. Evidence is sent. Hey, Macron, that's not the right evidence, but you just said you wanted this evidence. Well, no, but you see, it's not even about that. So, haha. The conspiracy theorist can never accept information in its purest, rawest form because their narrative has to fit, or the information, the facts have to fit their narrative. It's a scientist backwards. I come to my conclusion, everything must fit that conclusion. It's not actual research. It's not actual intrigue. Everything. Okay, watch this. The Jews did September 11th, right? It's one of the hot ones out there. Okay, so how do I make the story true in all capacities? All right, so let's say, I don't know, there's a group by the name of Al-Qaeda who is planning out this entire extensive move to take out these specific historic, yes, but also culturally relevant sites, our commerce, our defense, our social spaces, etc. And they pulled this off. Now, in order to fit the Jew box, it can't be Al-Qaeda because Al-Qaeda is not the Jew. So, okay, we can go a few angles here. We can say, well, it actually wasn't Al-Qaeda. It was just Jews, which is just like the most brain dead. So then somebody will refute you and you say, okay, so maybe Al-Qaeda actually is the Jews or is funded directly by them. So now, you know what I mean? Oh, okay, I'm seeing what you're getting at here. Yeah, they're actually funded by them. And so they actually did it by proxy. They did it through them. Oh, okay, so how do we explain then the entire jihadist organization? Well, see, jihadism is actually an extension of Bolshevikism, which is actually the Jews. So they actually started as them, and it's like, wait, that's confusing. I know, but just don't mind me there. Just believe me, trust me, bro. Okay, I trust you. So it's actually them who started off. So it's actually always been them. And also they drink, kids' blood. Oh my goodness, really? That's essentially how this sort of brain operates. right? Then functioning evidence, factual evidence shows up. And if it doesn't fit the narrative, it is now labeled as a false flag of sorts. It is labeled as propaganda. And let's say, it's like with President Trump, 1 out of his 12 main donors, his 12 biggest donors is Jewish. 1 out of 12. What a number. That doesn't fit. So what they'll do instead is to look at the 1 and forget the other 11 and say, see, he's funded by a Jew. That's how you fit the evidence into the narrative. And if somebody says, well, what about the other 11? I mean, the person will likely not engage, but if they do, then they will try to find a way to fit all of those other 11 into some connection with the Jew. Even if it's like, they bought, I don't know, they bought some kosher food the other day. So there's their connection. Thank me later. It's mental psychosis. It is mental illness, my friend. And beyond that is just straight up demonic. So, this is sickening. Here comes a person who states that they were so close to this man and they love this man. And she put together her little tribute of her plus Charlie, right? It's about her, go figure, plus Charlie. So, for those millions pouring into, this woman's streams and then into her, likely her dreams as well as streams, I caution you. I say go in there with discernment. I'll never stop anybody from listening. I never have once called for her to not have a platform. I don't believe in that, not in this capacity. But to be called out at every single turn, yes, we're here for that. This must be revealed because the next person who looks her up and is making their way out the left is now just going to be propagandized with somebody just as bad as a Joyless Reed or Don Lemon or something of that nature. And we don't need that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there. Or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I've been up for hours, I've been up for days, staring at the ceiling, I've been counting strays, I've been in my feelings, I've been out of mind. I've been getting visions of the other kind. I've been up for weeks. I'm in the count of blessings over count of sheep. I can never be the type to limit when it comes to me. I used to be the pleaser for the people. I